Hello guys, welcome back to another Meet Your Maker video, and in this video we're going to be discussing everything that I think is wrong with Meet Your Maker. Now when the game first came out, I did make a review video on this game and I think I gave it a 9 out of 10. Because it was something different, it was something new and something I really enjoyed, and honestly it was very fun. But the more I play it, the more I see a lot of flaws in this game. And keep in mind, this is not me trying to bash the game because I still love this game, I'm still going to play this game. So I'm not bashing it in any way, there's just some things though that they can change to make it a little bit better. So in this video, we're just going to strictly focus on the bad parts of this game and stuff that I hope they can improve in the future. So let's go over everything that is wrong in this game. The first thing is very basic, but it's kind of irritating, is the replay system. Now, if you guys don't know, you can rewatch people that raid your base. And most of the time it's pretty entertaining, but the problem is the replay system is very buggy, and I believe on console you don't have an option to actually rewind or skip ahead a certain amount of seconds, where on PC you do have that option. So hopefully they add that in the future, because you can see some of these raids are for like 21 minutes, 13 minutes, 36 minutes long, and I'm not going to sit there for 36 minutes straight watching this guy raid my base. I would like to fast forward to the important parts, so hopefully they can fix that, especially for console in the future, and make it a lot less buggy. The next thing is the traps. I feel like for a game that's centered around traps and base building, they actually don't have that many traps. Now I know it may look like they have a lot, but some of them is really kind of useless, like the hollow cube or the corrosive cube. And yes, I know they can be used in a very smart way, but I wish there was a lot more traps. That way every base doesn't seem like the same basic, incinerary, impalers on the stairway, and then arrows down the hall. It's like so predictable, unless you make a really smart base, but a lot of people just make very basic bases, which makes it a lot predictable, which doesn't really make it as fun when you raid a lot of bases. And I know they're going to add more traps in the future, so I'm looking forward to that. Another thing is your outpost. Now you can build up to 200 outposts, but you can only have 5 outposts active at a time. Let me tell you why that's very frustrating and annoying in a game like this. Let's take this base for example. This is one of my most popular bases. It had 70 raid attempts and 315 people killed by this base. It is prestige 9, and right now I have to prestige it to prestige 10. The issue is once you get your base to prestige 10, it will pretty much become inactive, and you will have to either put it in social or deactivate the base. And keep in mind, when your base is in social, only people that will be able to raid your base is if they search it up in the social raid. It will not pop up for people that are just looking to raid regular bases, which essentially means your base is going to become useless after you get to prestige 10. And because you can only have 5 active bases at a time, if you have a base that's set to social, that counts as 1 active outpost, leaving you with 1 less outpost that you can have open to the public to raid. Another issue that I run into is when I make a base, sometimes it gets no raiders. I could put it in overdrive, I can have it active all day, and I'll only get like 1 raider per day if I'm lucky, whereas some bases will get like 10 raiders per day. So when it comes to people raiding your base, you're either going to get a lot of people raiding it or nobody raiding it, which is kind of disappointing, especially if you put a lot of work into your base. You can see, for example, we have this base right here only been raided 13 times, where I have this base that's prestige 9 that's been raided 70 times. And also keep in mind that if your base is not even getting raided, it still gets depleted every day. Every day your base gets depleted, whether it gets raided or not. I'm assuming they did this so it makes room for people's active bases in the menu when you want to search to raid a base. So that kind of makes sense, and I kind of like that part because it gets rid of all the dead bases that no one's really playing on anymore, which leaves room for more active bases, but that doesn't explain why a lot of my bases are not getting raids. And another main issue is people that make bases like these. So when people make bases like these, people find it as just lazy and a way to get easy kills and easy points. This is what people refer to as kill bases or impossible bases, because it's nearly impossible, or it is possible, but you're going to get a lot of deaths depending on how good the player is that's raiding your base. Some of these can be manageable and you won't die pretty quick, but sometimes people won't even attempt it and will just leave. The issue with that is it just doesn't make the game fun. Like, I personally like raiding bases like these sometimes, but not every base I go to. Sometimes I like the unique and tricky looking bases, except for bases that are like a maze. If you make a base that's like a maze, I just find those really long, boring, and I just don't have the patience to go through a whole maze, especially if I die and have to go back in again. But I feel like this game kind of limits you on how creative you can get, mainly because you have to have a trail for the harvester to walk from the entrance and have a clear path all the way to your gen map. That can get in the way of some build ideas that you want to do, making you build a certain way that you really don't want to build, and it can mess with your building. And last but not least, it's kind of minimal, but the thing that's kind of pointless in this game is the ranking system. Apparently, you rank up when you raid bases successfully, when you die less, and when people raid your base and they die. Now, they say at the end of every season, you get a reward based on what rank you have at the end of the season, whenever it ends. I think they said in June is when it ends for the first season, so you should get your points for whatever rank you are. I mean, but I don't know what that's going to go towards. I don't see how that would help anyone out. Maybe you'll get some certain cosmetics or a sticker or a decal. But I find the ranking system very useless in this game. Even when it comes to ranking up like your stations, you can see our stations are pretty decent levels. But the only thing these levels are good for is increasing your duration of the boost that you can do. And these boosts are semi-useful if you want to increase your syndicate dropped while raiding. I never use any of these, and I have no problem gathering materials that I need. Now, one thing I would love for them to do is when you rank up a station or an advisor, let's say for the traps, they should have it where if you level up your traps advisor to a certain level, then maybe certain traps should cost less capacity, making you put more traps in your base. And they could basically do that for every station and make it unique. But I don't know, guys. That's everything I do not like about this game so far. I'm obviously still going to be playing the game, and I'm not trying to bash the game at all. But if I had to rate the game again, 1 out of 10, I'm kind of bringing it down to a 7 until they can fix some issues and just make things a little bit more exciting, especially when it comes to the base building. That's my main problem, is just my bases getting depleted, no one raiding them. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me, if you disagree with me on anything. If I forgot to mention anything and you want to mention it yourself, drop it in the comments below. I want to hear your thoughts on what you think of this game so far and what they can do to improve it.